Hello, friends. I'm laughing because I did this to myself. Oh my God, Coach, you have what it takes. You said that, I saw that a while ago, and now everybody in this room knows that to be 100% true. Can I just say, I am so happy to be back here in this familiar place with all of you. It's been really wonderful for me to have the opportunity to reconnect with so many of you and to catch up on the things that have been happening in your lives and to share a little bit about my adventures and the things that I have been up to while I was away. Now, let's start with the obvious. First, I did, in fact, come back. I know there's some chatter about that, but here I am. Second, I have hair. And no, I don't exactly know what this thing is. When my hair grows out, I lose all control of it. There's nothing I can do. And yes, the time away was deeply energizing. As anyone who's been in a one-on-one conversation with me can immediately tell, the opportunity to recharge and to rest and to recalibrate and to fill my bucket. I'm standing in front of you and I feel good and I feel healthy and I feel strong, and a little bit more on that later. But thank you all for your understanding. Standing here today with all of you to celebrate your remarkable achievements and the progress of our community is always so gratifying. And I truly, like Coach, I am in awe of the accomplishments and the achievements that each and every one of you bring to the table every single day to make our community better. And it's all the more remarkable given the perspective that I was able to achieve during my time away. First, a couple thank yous. I want to extend my deepest thanks to our volunteer leaders, and I want to thank our chairman, Steve Fernier, our immediate past chair, Dave Schneckenberger, for their support of me and our organization, and for our entire board. You know, your leadership and your trust and your commitment to this work is truly unmatched, and it is because of your collective support that I could take the time I needed for myself to fully step away. But more importantly, each of you showed up for our team in the same extraordinary way that you've always showed up for me. And I and we are extremely grateful for that. Thank you all very much. I also want to recognize our entire team at CenterState CEO and our corporate leadership team, and in particular Ben Sayo, who unfortunately can't be here today because he's traveling for work with some exciting opportunities. The added burden that each of you carried while I was gone was not light. I know that from experience. But you all carried it with excellence, and I am both proud and thankful. When I left at the end of June, I locked my work phone in a desk drawer, and I walked away from it for 3 months. Now, that level of peace of mind, it's only possible when you know that you have a world-class team that is ready to lead, and they did, and I would ask all of you to please recognize each and every one of them right now. Coach Jack. Now, she told a little bit of the story. I did first meet Coach. She was actually having lunch with Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens at the time at Salt City Market, and we got introduced to each other. And the thing that jumped out at me about Coach Jack was that this was someone who I could instantly tell makes everyone around her better and want to be better. And there's this rare combination of purpose and positivity and power. And on top of it, when we sat down and had lunch and got to know each other, you can instantly tell that she is a good human underneath it all. And that is what makes so much of a difference to me. So Coach, thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a leader. Thank you for allowing me to work with you to support your incredible program and this vision as you all aspire to be champions in your own right. Congratulations. And finally, Dr. Hilton and all of your colleagues, faculty, students, partners, administrators at Onondaga Community College for this year's Visionary Award winner, you are not just training students for jobs, you are molding the workforce and the leaders that will drive the future of this region. And that work is vital, and we are proud to be your partners. Now, we're here today to celebrate the magic that occurs when preparation meets opportunity. And all of these successes that we see happen around us, they did not happen overnight. They are the product of determination, decades of determination and collaboration, right? The persistence and the perseverance that Coach was talking about. Together, we have put in the work so that when opportunity came knocking, our region would be ready. Take Onondaga County, for example, which years ago had the foresight to set aside a piece of land, the White Pine Business Park, immediately next to a truly unique power asset, thank you National Grid, that is suited to the needs of large-scale, power-intensive industries like semiconductor manufacturing. And while there wasn't much semiconductor investment in the United States at the time, the county resisted, time and time again, resisted the effort or the push to squander that asset on a low-value opportunity. And instead, County Executive McMahon and the entire team continued to invest in the site, positioning it perfectly so that when the tides of globalization finally turned, we could pave the way for Micron's transformational investment. Or the Inspire Innovation Hub, downtown's newest jewel that's bringing energy and vitality and innovation to our Convention and Innovation District and serves as a beacon to our region's entrepreneurs. That building is a physical monument to the fact that our business, civic, and public sector partners, many of whom are here today, are investing today in the companies that will win tomorrow. Now, a project like Inspire doesn't just come out of the ground. The first seeds were planted more than 20 years ago at the Syracuse Technology Garden. And it was more than a decade ago that we first realized that we were running out of space in this building to accommodate our region's entrepreneurs. And when we first commissioned a study to look at the engineering potential of doing a vertical expansion on top of what used to be a collapsed municipal parking garage. A decade ago that we started that work. And just last month, we opened the doors for that facility, which if you have not been in, I encourage you to please go visit. It is spectacular. And it is carrying a message of hope and inspiration that is central to our future as a region. So many great things are already happening in that building. We opened with over 90% occupancy. We will have more than 100 clients being served in that building by the end of this year, and it's a truly remarkable accomplishment. Now, examples of this thesis, preparation meets opportunity, abound. Right? It was the STEAM School. A little more than a decade ago, the STEAM School was nothing more than an idea and a dream, and today it's home to more than 200 students from across our entire region that are pursuing a world-class education in the fields that are literally driving our regional economy. To say nothing of the many dreams that we are spinning into whole cloth right now as we speak, like the opportunity to build a 4th nuclear power plant up in Oswego to generate clean and carbon-free power to support the energy-intensive jobs of the future. Now, this event brings together leaders from every sector, builders, creators, visionaries, people who believe in the promise of this place that you heard Coach talk about. And your dedication has not only powered a true economic transformation in this region, but you are steadfastly preparing right now to turn today's aspirations into future achievement. That is what champions do, and that is why this event exists, to celebrate each and every one of you. Now today, as you've heard, we recognize more than 350 organizations that together have hired over 4,800 employees, expanded more than 1.3 million square feet of space, and invested over $1.4 billion in our regional economy. That's an astounding number. And in addition to these milestones, 94 businesses opened new storefronts, 88 organizations celebrated major anniversaries, 156 companies earned significant awards and recognitions, 44 firms advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in their workplace in meaningful ways. And yes, that's still a thing. Emerging entrepreneurs like Sweets for Babe, one of our Upstart clients, and Old City Hall Brewery in Oswego, both daring to dream and take the leap and open their doors for the first time. And they joined a legacy of institutions that have anchored this community for generations, like KeyBank with 200 years, VIP Structures and Cowley Associates, each reaching 50 years, Emblem Jewelers still shining brightly after 135 consecutive years in downtown Syracuse. We also celebrate companies that expanded their footprint and invested in their growth. Lotte, TTM, Sapphire Recruitment, Morse Manufacturing, Wireless Business Group, Chimera, Danable and McKee, just to name a few. And nonprofits like Childcare Solutions, the Food Bank of Central New York, and Make-A-Wish, whose compassion and service strengthen the very fabric of this region. And while we're talking about the food bank, let's give our friend Evelyn Ingram and our other friend Jeff Knaus a shout out for what they're doing right now on social media. Over $90,000 raised in one day to support people in our community who are food insecure. Neighbor helping neighbor. That's what it's all about. Now together, you and every single economic champion here, you are the heartbeat of Central New York. You are proof of what happens when confidence, creativity, and courage converge with persistence and possibility. And each investment, each expansion, each milestone tells the story of a community that refuses to stand still, a community that is ready for this moment, ready to succeed, as Coach Jack reminds us, because of our mindset, which is where I will close today on a personal note. Sometime in the summer of 2024, I broke. The vision and the creativity and the joy that have defined my professional career in Central New York, 22 years, started to morph into something that felt oppressive, almost inescapable. And the accumulated weight of our journey together, right? All of this important work that we're talking about, along with my own unrealistic expectations of myself and those around me, became a greater burden than I could carry. Now, I have lived with depression for years, but I have largely tended to it through force of will. I'm sure many of you can relate. Whenever I'd feel that tug of doubt behind me, I'd just run harder. I'd go faster. I would train myself to function at a level that was designed just to help me outrun the gravity that was coming for me. And in so doing, I began to lose myself, the human being behind the colored buttons and the podium, through mostly neglect. I worked, and therefore I didn't hike or bike or travel. I worked, and therefore I didn't sleep. I worked, and therefore I didn't tend to the critical relationships in my friends and my family and my own self in the way that humans are uniquely capable of. Now, I share all of this because as humans, we are often taught from an early age that winners never quit. We keep going. We persevere. How many times have we used these words? How many times have I used these words from this very podium? We push and we plow through. And that rubric is both flawed and incomplete. And this summer, during my sabbatical, I learned a new way to win. I learned what it means to be my own champion, to put myself first, to recognize the signs of overwhelm and to do something about it, to admit my own limitations and to ask for help. Now, my time away was the single best thing I've ever done for myself in my entire adult life. Unburdened by constant stress, I actually slept. Freed from a schedule that I allowed to confine me, I traveled and moved through the woods and forests that called to me. With time enough to feel the stirrings of restlessness and boredom, I drew and wrote and reconnected with friends. I spent time with my parents. I took 5,000 pictures. You want to know why? Because I saw 5,000 things of such majesty and simple beauty that I wanted to capture. In 3 short months, I rediscovered what it means to live. And I was reminded of the complete human that exists inside that requires care and feeding. I find joy in things as basic as a cheese and onion enchilada in southern Colorado that I can still taste right now standing here at the podium. I found awe and wonder in all the many parks and monuments of the American West, familiarity and peace in my Adirondack Mountains. Maybe most importantly, actual comfort, looking at myself in the mirror and accepting myself for who I am, at my very best, and also at my worst. Now, winning is in fact a mindset. It is just not one that is singular in its dimension. And these discoveries and rediscoveries are a gift that you all have afforded me, for which I will be eternally grateful. They serve as the foundation for a new game plan for how I intend to win this next phase of my career and this next phase of my life. So as we close out this year's 2025 economic celebration, I want to acknowledge the many sacrifices that each and every one of you human beings in this room have made in order to win. I see you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the overwhelming support that you have shown to me and to our organization during my time of need. And I will remind you that whether in business or in life, it is okay. In fact, sometimes it's necessary to ask for help. Doing so has changed my life. And that is the foundational reason that humans organize themselves into communities like ours, both within CenterState CEO and in our broader Central New York region, for mutual support and fellowship as we pursue shared purpose. So congratulations, Central New Yorkers, on all that you have accomplished this year and all that lies ahead. I cannot begin to tell you how good it is to be back among you. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.